Hello! So recently I made my first YouTube video and I went over 5 tips to know when making a fursuit. And with that in mind, I thought I'd also go over what supplies you'll need when making a suit. So let's get into it. This list literally consists of everything you'll need, assuming you have absolutely nothing. A friendly reminder that I've only made 3 fursuit heads and finishing up my 4th, so by no means am I an expert. I just know that I made a lot of mistakes and I want to help others avoid them as much as possible. And just try to make the overall process a bit easier. That being said, some of the basics you'll need are scissors. I recommend having a minimum of 2 pairs, one for cutting random stuff like foam or paper, and another solely for cutting fur, because you want to keep those as sharp as possible. Also a small one, although not necessary, for those smaller spots. Also gonna need a hot glue gun. I got this one for sale at Michael's. It was really cheap and it's worked fine, but I've recently upgraded to this larger one that has a temperature control setting, and I haven't used it too much, but it's already way better. And with the hot glue gun, you're obviously gonna need hot glue sticks, and you're gonna need more than you think. Next, you're gonna need duct tape, or you can use masking tape as well. Both are great, whichever you prefer, honestly. I also added a slicker brush to this list to brush out those seams, as well as a bristle brush to brush those more delicate fabrics, as well as the face of your fursuits, since a slicker brush is meant to remove fur and you don't want to bald the face of your suit. Now we're getting into the sewing supplies you'll be needing. You'll be needing a needle, some thread. I use a dual duty thread, if you're wondering, as well as pins. I use 2 different types of these, a larger and smaller one depending on what I'm pinning, as well as clips. It is up to you on which you want to use. I prefer the clips because they're just easier to use, but pins are a lot cheaper. But if I had to recommend anything, it would be the clips. There are many different ways to make fursuit eyes, but I will only be going over the ways that I have personally done it. So for this suit, since she has 3D printed eyes, I purchased some from Fit Space Designs on Etsy and installed some mesh from Curlworks, painted it, and put it together. For this guy who has 2D eyes, I used the same eye mesh, but also used this plastic sheet from Jill's Costumes, and I patterned it out and glued it in there. So again, what you're going to need for 3D printed eyes is your eye blank, eye mesh. For 2D printed, the white plastic, some paint, and paintbrushes. This isn't a necessity per se, but if you do want to line your head, you can do so with several different materials, such as lycra, quilted broadcloth, and neoprene, which is what I'm using right now. And the last 2 things are going to be foam and faux fur. I have these 2 listed separately because this is what I see being questioned about a lot. Starting off with foam, it's often going to be referred to as craft or project foam. You can find this actually at Walmart. I occasionally see them carry it, but you're better off just going to Joann's, Michael's for a larger variety. Those are my go-to places. I use a mixture of 1/2 inch and 1 inch foam. You can use whatever you want, but that's what I use. Moving on to fur, the most recent fur purchase I've made was from both Big Z Fabrics and Hal Fabrics. Both are great, good high quality fur, but I do say this, if you're on a time crunch, Hal Fabrics is probably not the best option because they do take a long time to ship their orders out sometimes, and you might have to wait a month before you get it. But regardless, both are great and I highly recommend both of them. And that's pretty much it. I think that's everything. Please let me know if I left anything out, but that's all you need to make your fursuit head. If you want to make paws or a full suit, then you might need a couple more things, but that's it. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all in regards to fursuit making or the furry pen in general, please comment them below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Maybe soon. Maybe? I don't know. Honestly, whenever I get around to it. But thank you.